So let's get started. I don't like this here. Let me try this. Let's see how this works. I don't even know how that looks, honestly. Let's see. I'll stop it. Nope, I don't like it either place, so it could just stay where it's at. Cool. So ruling from the egg is something that I had a term that I had come across a while back, and just before we even get started for real, I do have the hey Dennis, I do have the Soul Work Masterclass starting soon, and I'll be putting out more information on that soon. I have the second cycle, and if anybody needs a cord cutting, a reading, anything like that, hey, what's up? How are you? Just hit me up. And, if you have anything you really want to learn about, any way that you really want to heal right now, I'm definitely ready. I took some time to myself just to get more balanced again, and I feel really good now. I think that a lot of people were going through a lot of changes at this time. And the changes are natural. They're normal for us. Every time you're going through something, you're about to level up spiritually, emotionally, physically, perhaps. Anyway. In one way or another, or in all dimensions of your life, you could be leveling up. So it's really important not to judge yourself and to judge your process. Okay. So those are my little announcements. Now let's get into this work. So ruling from the egg was a term that I heard a while back. Actually, it's an occult term. Very difficult to find information on it. You would actually need books to understand that term. You would need books just to know that term actually even exists. So when we start on this, we start with the cosmic egg, which is probably why people probably looked at my blog post like this is not provocative, but I wasn't trying to be provocative. I was giving people real information. Many ancient cultures use an egg as sort of a metaphor for the macro and microcosm. The very, very core, the very, very center of the egg is what we can characterize as the soul. And everything, and then there's a cosmic sun, and then they use the yolks around the egg and stuff to represent different dimensions and things of that nature. And then the shell would sort of be the physical world. So if you're staying centered in your beingness, if you're staying grounded in that which you truly are, and or where you want to be, because everybody is coming or emanating from one point, one source, the void, chaos, pure potentiality, the place where all possibilities exist, which is why when we go into our own void and when we go into our own, we're in our own flow, you'll have so many creative ideas begin to come to you because you are in this space where pure potentiality exists. Now, what you do with those ideas and how you manifest them into the world, that's going to be totally predicated upon you and upon the kind of work that you want to put in, because you can have all the beautiful ideas in the world, but if you can't figure out how to get funding for some of those ideas, if you can't figure out how you could shoot something in a way to where it could be relatable with people, if you can't figure out how you could level up so that you can execute on something in a more holistic and grounded way, then the idea is going to go to someone else typically. And the more you are really centered in what we call source, what we call the divine, what we call the great mother, what we call the triple goddess, the blackness, the darkness, you know what I mean? Just the void. The more you can get into that and and stay centered in that, and then emanate forth as one or as self with that connection, the more you'll be able to really figure out where you want to go, what you want to do, what would be most satisfying for you, because you're a unique expression of the divine, experiencing itself. And I've always felt like it's actually way more loving than just that, because we look at ourselves as the divine expressing itself, but I think that is deeper than that. I think that sometimes you need two, the number two, or you need another one to show you who you are and to act as a mirror so you can truly see your uniqueness. And this is this what we have innate within ourselves, the divine has innate within itself, where it wants someone else to hold up a mirror and be like, it had to separate from itself so it could hold up the mirror to itself and actually see what it is. So it's we are that is us. And just in the ways that you'll never fully understand the magnitude of your everythingness, Source is striving for, but will never understand the magnitude of its everythingness. And that sort of is the journey that brings the joy, that brings the connection, that brings the expansion. And sometimes we will expand and then we'll contract or come in because we want to go into our inner world to understand that which we've been experiencing. When you never go into your inner world, you can't really make sense out of what you're experiencing, why, and do you still, and make even the decision of, do I still want to experience this, or would I like to experience something else? Okay. So the cosmic egg is a very, very ancient, and it's funny because nobody really talks about the cosmic egg anymore. Nobody really takes the time to understand why would an ancient culture choose to use an egg to represent, what they're looking to convey. What's the point in all that? And it's just because it's such a great multi-dimensional thing, multi-dimensional symbol where everything is interconnected, and where you still have that representation of Source within you, the black dot. When we look at the occult symbol, the circle with a dot in the middle, that circle is like self, and that dot is Source. So that's why this is such, and it will represent the yin and the yang energy. It's a great symbol. There was something that I wanted to touch on. Okay, so outside of sort of Source, they call it the great central sun inside the egg, right? So that's an interesting term. And in my post, I sort of went into how the sun, how we actually produce gamma waves as the sun produces gamma rays. And that's the highest frequency of light. And light and sound really are pretty much the same, but just expressing themselves differently. Because I'm vibrating to produce sound. Meanwhile, light has a vibration, but it's not vibrating so much as it's just sort of shooting forward, and it's expressing as form or as light, but you can't touch light. That's just a side note. But for sound, I need to actually vibrate the sound. I need two things to rub together. I actually need friction to produce sound. So the whole thing is that within this cosmic egg, we also have the concept of sun, or of the sun being within you, not the sun being outside of you. So the sun is truly within you. And I know I saw a video where they had done this study on these, meditators from like Tibet. And what they found was that these individuals produce gamma waves at an abnormal rate. And that when they meditate, the gamma waves actually, they start to fire off. Their brain produces them at an even higher rate. Sometimes I think it was like 3,000% more than just their regular. I mean, talk about being in the flow, being tapped in. That's crazy. So they're producing this at a higher rate. So what's going on with that is that, like, you are the sun. And then I remember listening to some Dr. Delbert Blair lectures where he was like, where is the sun? And if the sun is so hot, then why is space cold? And that had me thinking, and I know that when they go into space, they're like, oh, this vast darkness, this vast blackness, like, where is the sun? Nobody could find the sun truly. So as I think about that, that made me realize that really we are the sun. Our collective inner suns are projecting out and creating, because you can't have something outside of you that is not inside of you. It's just not, that's not how it works. That's why this is a beautiful symbol, because it's the macro and the microcosm. And those are the gamma. Now, before gamma, there's theta, which is what we produce as children, usually age 1 to 7, in order to take in and learn. And while that's a good state to be in, especially for creativity, when you're producing the theta waves, you're very, very open and susceptible to programming. So while you can get creative, but if I'm just sitting here taking everything in, I'm accepting, sort of like being in a movie theater, honestly, where you want to be told a lie. You want to be tricked. You want to know, you don't want to know what the truth is. When you're in a movie theater, nobody wants to know the truth in a movie theater. So that would really be more of a theta wave state form. All right, so let me go into this just a little bit deeper. Sometimes it's hard for me to like articulate, only because I'm just like that. Like, some stuff is just in my head and I'm like, oh, this is great. Oh yeah, this is actually a good one too. So now that we're understanding how we create our reality, and it's crazy too, because even when you look at the cosmic egg, everything is still coming from one point, but all these things, all these realities, all these universes that are intersecting within it as well, by the way. They have multiple realities that exist in the yolk of that, in the white part, and it's going around the center and is actually intersecting. This is more of an alchemical symbol that I had used in the article, but it sort of brings that all together. And so, like, how sometimes you'll have deja vu, or sometimes you'll have a past life memory that you're like, how do I remember, like, why do I feel like I know I've been here before? I know, which is deja vu, but, or why do I remember this differently? I've actually had that happen to me a couple times, where I know that I shifted my reality or I changed my reality because I would have an event, something very slight, like I would recall an event like I had an argument, and then when it actually happens, I'm like, last time this happened, I had an argument. I remember clearly having an argument, but this conversation went way smoother. So that's how you know you shifted your vibration and shifted your reality. Crazy shit. It's just crazy, like these little things that we don't notice as beings, that is happening all the time. And that's just the nature of reality. It's completely natural for it to happen, honestly. Now, I'll go into squaring the circle in a second, because we're on the cosmic egg and the concept of ruling from the egg. I just want to reiterate how first off, I want to say not to get so caught up in the endlessness of creation, but rather to focus on the journey of it all. because the reason why I typically will focus on the numbers 0 through 9 is because they're the basis of everything in reality that currently exists. But I don't focus on 11 as much, or 12, or the 24s, or whatever, even though those are important numbers as well, only because numbers are endless. Numbers are always going to be endless. And just as numbers are endless, creation is endless. So if we get caught up in the endlessness, we feel sort of like we don't matter and like we're lost in a sea or a void of endlessness. And that's not correct. You do matter, and the point is that all the creation is emanating through you. It's emanating through you, through your soul, things, concepts, ideas. It's supposed to be a play. You're supposed to, it doesn't matter whether you're on Earth, whether you're in the stars, or sorry guys. This is supposed to be a state of play at all times. So, hey, what's up, Grand Rising? So, don't get so caught up in the, can you guys see me still on? I know on here I'm good. But here, all right, are we back or what's up? Can you guys hear me? I hate when that happens. Because I had a call, I should have disabled my calls. And this is still recording. Super weird. Okay then. Well, I'm just going to let it go. Whatever. I don't care that it froze. I know you can still hear me, so we're just going to keep going. I'm not finna end the stream. Anyway, so the thing is, well, this is one tactic to make people think that there is just this endlessness to creation, and that you'll never, to make people think that there is just this endlessness to creation, and that it doesn't matter, and that you'll never, accomplish anything because it's never ending. And that's to get you in a state of depression, of I don't matter, of nothing matters. So don't play into that energy. Another tactic, which is a master manipulation tactic, is when individuals will, now when you look at the cosmic egg, everything is interconnected. So if I want to be a master manipulator, which I'm not, I actually love seeing everything sort of interconnect. But if someone wants to manipulate society, if somebody wants to be a master manipulator, what they'll do is they'll actually create separation, and they'll create separation on purpose. So they're creating friction, or creating arguments, creating wars, creating, I'm different from you. Meanwhile, everybody's emanating from the same source. So instead of celebrating each other's uniqueness, we're now arguing and fighting with one another. And this is how these beings or entities or whatever, when you understand this very important information, you start to understand how that information is actually being used against you pretty consistently. So don't fall into the trap of I'm different from you, you're different from me, because you're being manipulated every time that you do. Every time you fall into the trap of spirit and science are not the same, you're falling into a trap. It's just understanding different angles of the same information, and everybody's perspective matters, because everybody's perspective adds something in to that information to make it more rich, and to make the experience of it more rich. Okay, so that's that. Now squaring the circle in alchemy and other alchemical texts. So when you square the circle, you really have a circle, a larger circle, then you have a triangle, then you have a square, and then you have another circle inside of the square. So the I would say, this is my interpretation of it, the middle circle is representing sort of the black dot or that primordial essence that is your soul. That's how I look at that particular thing. So, this is super weird on here. I don't know what happened on YouTube, but I'm finding it super odd. It's still frozen. But I think they could hear me, so whatever. We're just going to go with it, guys. We're going to go with it. I was kind of like, did it fix itself? It's like, no, I fixed nothing for you. All right, so when you square the circle, the what's up, Dionysus? So when you square the circle, you have the black dot in the middle. Then you have the square around it. The square is the four winds, the four elements. It represents structure, represents the body. So we already know off this symbol that you're a soul trapped in a body. Not trapped in a body. I mean, you created the body. So, like, you created your own prison. I mean, you could look at it that way, but you chose to do what you're doing and be where you are for a reason. So to even look at it in a way that you're trapped or you're in a prison or whatever is not really beneficial for you. But since you have free will, you can look at it any kind of way you want to. So if you want to believe that you're trapped, by all means, do you. I'm not going to believe that I'm trapped, however. Okay, so then the triangle represents the Trinity. And we need to get into the conversation at this point of how soul and spirit are two different things. Spirit is more of the life force energy, and then soul is really the connection to source that you have, or connection to the divine. It's that deeper, you know? Okay, so then the square is the connection. I mean, the triangle is the connection, mind, body, soul, father, mother, child. It's really like the wisdom. What is it? The wisdom, the knowledge, and then the manifestation, which would be the child. So what manifests from that? And then the larger circle, to me, represents sort of the physical body and everything that you are truly being in balance. But just like how those little Russian dolls are like inside of another doll and things like that, that's sort of how your soul is operating, except that it's like that all the way in the cosmos, and then like that all the way down. Is the spirit the antagonist or protagonist? Spirit is just spirit. It's just energy. It's neither. There's a middle. It kind of would be the middle. It's just how you use the energy. It's just your life force energy. It's not that deep like people are making it. Spirit told me this. And the thing is, through Christianity, we started using that term spirit interchangeably to mean soul, but a spirit is not a soul. A spirit is just energy. A soul is the connection with source. How far back can that energy go? Can that energy go through its whole lineage, feeling every bit of their ancestors and reach back to source? You know, has that spirit learned how to become a 9? Have you emanated from the 0 and learned how to become a 9? So spirit isn't the antagonist or protagonist. It's just your life force energy and how you choose to use it. Well, within the body. Outside of the body, it gets different because ghosts are more like glitches because they're just residual energy, like electromagnetic energy that sort of got trapped into a cycle or something like that. So something sort of is binding them where they are. But it's just an aspect of energy. That wouldn't even be the totality of the soul. It's just an aspect of energy that got left behind. The soul still moves on. The soul does what the soul does. But this spirit or that ghost or that glitch kind of gets stuck there. Not even a spirit, I think, would get stuck there, honestly. A spirit could be something that was never physical, though. A spirit could be an angel that never manifested here. A spirit could be, like, you would call your ancestors. I'm pretty sure you don't call your ancestors spirit. A spirit guide might be an entity that you even created, which I've created a couple myself. So a spirit and a soul are just different. It's different things, and the one is not better than the other. It's just different ways of using energy, and a lot of people haven't like really figured that out yet. Okay, and then the larger circle also, when you're squaring the circle, the larger circle around the triangle with the square with the other circle in the middle could also represent the physical reality. And just like the square could represent the body, but then the triangle could represent the body also. So these symbols are created to be multi-dimensional. They're not created to be well, my way is the right way of seeing it. No, this is how I interpreted the symbol. How did you interpret it? And then we put two and two together, and we're like, oh shit, that's deep. Like, we came up, oh shit, now we understand it. And me, my divergent mind, I started going everywhere with this, because I started realizing how it's showing how everything is connected. And this is why, if someone is saying that, oh, I rule from the egg or whatever, or if there's someone who wants to control reality, who maybe doesn't have the energy to create, but they can manipulate reality, they'll create division, and they'll make sure that certain people never speak to one another. So like if I'm a scientist, but I'm noticing how the spiritual phenomena is really connecting with science in a certain way, there will be a larger entity that's working to keep the two disciplines separate, because when they come together, they're more powerful. And when they understand each other and sort of meld and mold together, is more powerful, where they're still different, but they're still relatable. So that's why people, and this is a time of androgyny. The age of Aquarius is truly a time of androgyny and a time of coming together. A time of understanding multidimensional symbols and multidimensional concepts and multidimensional realities. So that's really what's happening right now. And once I understood this so much, and it's the same fucking trick. It's like, dog, it's the same fucking trick bag that you're using over and over again. Same trick bag of just creating division. But it works so well because people want to believe that somebody is different from them, when really nobody is different. Well, I think this shit, I'm going to just end this stream on here. Yeah, just end it. And I'll just chill with you guys on, it's like wild on YouTube. My shit, I got a call, my shit totally just went out. But yeah, done. I don't even give a fuck. Put that shit up and let it go. Alright. So yeah, that's basically the concept of squaring the circle. Let me put this light up a little higher. Alright. Does anyone have questions? And I also want you all, and don't look at anything like, it's your enemy. Even quote unquote archons or whatever, you could create harmony even with that energy. So I don't encourage people to look at anything like it's your enemy, because once you consider something an enemy, you won't take the extra steps to truly understand the energy. So instead of doing that, it might benefit you more to look at the energy as what it is, an energy, and understand how it works and how it moves. And I mean, guys, this is chess, not checkers. Life is chess. Reality is chess. And we don't even, and then at some point, you don't even want to play chess anymore. You don't even want to be in the game. You don't want to be in the war game. Instead, it's like trying to figure out how you can bring things together instead of tearing things apart. You know, it becomes a whole different mechanism at that point. when you figure out how you can pull together instead of tear apart. Because you're being manipulated every time somebody says, oh, look at this, they're different from you. Oh, look at this is better than you. Oh, look at this is worse than you. Oh, look at them, they're not doing as good as you, or whatever. That divisiveness is causing you to believe that something outside of you is different from you, and thus it is not you, when truly everything is 0, 1. 0, 1. And if you want to become a 9 and become the 9, which is 0 manifested, you got to understand how everything connects. It's not easy being a 9 because you have a large responsibility, but it's worth it. So I'm going to go. This was interesting. I didn't know they've been messing with my streams on here too, actually, because I don't think as many people are seeing my pages as they used to. But I love you guys. That's not going to stop us. We're still here. I'm going to still be here. You guys take care. Bye.